How's the volume level on this? Is it loud enough? Okay, so we're gonna get started. Thank you guys so much for coming to our very first Pioneer Pitch Night here in Boston. We're really excited to have 8 startups being represented here today, variety of within the GSVlabs community and also outside of the community. GSVlabs, we have this wonderful network of startups, both here in Boston and in Silicon Valley. And we wanted to start the Pioneer Pitch Night event series to be able to showcase on a consistent basis the types of innovation and technologies that are growing here within our walls. So I'm going to give everyone a quick background on GSVlabs. GSVlabs is a global innovation platform. We're headquartered in Silicon Valley and now here in Boston. Our mission is to accelerate startups and connect corporations with innovative business models, ideas, and technologies, meaning we work with all the major players in the innovation ecosystem, so startups, corporations, governments, nonprofits. We have 175 startups in our walls here in Boston and also in Silicon Valley. We have over 7,000 startups on Passport, our online platform. Our companies have raised in aggregate over $600 million since 2015. We have 50 corporate clients, 450 investors in our investor forum, and we have over $700,000 in perks and discounts on our platform. So our Pioneer Pitch Night is actually powered by our Passport platform. We created Passport this January. We took all of the network in mentorship and investment and discounts that you used to only be able to access here if you were physically in one of our centers, and we put them online. So now, no matter where you're located globally, you can access our network. It's a really, really great resource. There are a lot of people here who are GSV Passport members. If you are not, it is free to sign up. Highly recommend you try it out. It's a really wonderful community, and it's growing by over 50 companies every week. So please test it out and see what it's like. So we're going to get to the fun part now. We're about to hear 8 great pitches, as I mentioned. First off, I would love to introduce our 3 judges for the night. I actually would love it if you would each introduce yourselves. It would be great to get to know who you are. Okay. You can use that one, sure.
Hello. Charlie Cameron's my name, from the Hub Angel Investment Group. We're on our 6th fund. We've been around 2 years.
Hello.
We've seen 12,000 companies. We think it's a great time in Boston to see new companies, new ideas. People have used technology in fantastic ways in the past decade or more. So we're really excited. We love early stage companies, and we're happy to be here tonight. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kat Zorig. I'm from Innerspark Ventures. We are a new fund in town. We just turned 1 today. Not today, sorry, this month. We invest, thank you. We invest at the intersection of early stage, AI, and Boston. And it's a $100 million fund started by 2 folks who pulled together their own money to build a fund one is an AI expert, and then the other, and serial entrepreneur. Another one has deep roots in the Boston ecosystem.
Great. Hi everyone, I'm Matt Toms. I'm with Bolt. We are a early stage firm focused exclusively on pre-seed and seed stage investments. So, our philosophy is that kind of first 12, 18 months of a company's life is really a unique animal. It's kind of an interesting time where you're not quite ramping revenue yet, but really kind of focusing on the core challenges facing teams, building great teams, finding product market fit, all that kind of unsexy stuff before the hockey stick takes off. And that's really our bread and butter. So we focus on that. We're based here in Boston as well as out in San Francisco. And we, third fund, it's an $80 million fund with partners who came from Sequoia and Atlas and some of the other big name firms. So excited to be here.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much. So we're going to start getting to the pitches now. The setup for tonight is we have the 8 companies. Each company will pitch for 5 minutes. There'll be a 2-minute Q&A follow-up from any judges who have questions. Seth will be holding the timer over here, so just look out for that. And we'll get started. So first up is Amara Stacy of SolarFi. It might be loud enough, but is this for the live stream? Okay, perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Amira. I am with SolarFi, and we are a clean tech hub that focuses on advanced mobility, solving issues in the circular economy, providing an innovative way for omni-channel marketing, internet device charging, and access to city services.
What is our solution? We are a fresh, innovative way for brands to communicate with their customers. We are an alternative to generators for refrigeration and power for food trucks and festivals. We are a community health center in a low-income area. We are a community center in new housing buildings, and we are a brick and mortar for startups. Some traction that we have to date, we most recently we won a scholarship to attend SoCap. It's the largest impact investing conference in the US. We are currently in our second round interview of Techstars, fingers crossed. We were the #1 clean tech company in the BVM Accelerator program. We recruited a highly experienced CTO, and we just got approved through Net Capital to run a crowdfunding campaign. Who is our customer? On the consumer end, you can rent a power bank, charge your phone, charge your device, drop it off at another location. We're giving people a hands-on outdoor retail experience. They don't want to go inside anymore. They don't want to be traced through the mall by the bath fitter guy or someone trying to buy a phone case. B2B, we're increasing outdoor foot traffic. We are giving people a personal interaction with their customer base, ultimately impacting sales revenue, decreasing employee turnover, and increasing employment opportunities. Some milestones, how are we going to get there? We're going to start with the tailgating pop-up at LSU, University of Michigan. Secondly, we want to place SolarFi stations at Harvard and MIT, giving med students a way and first access to telemedicine. Secondly, we're going to secure a pop-up at a music festival, Coachella, Burning Man, secure a pop-up at some sort of tropical application, Miami, LA, beach resort. We want to launch a telemedicine project in a low-income area with a healthcare company, which will be staffed by their community health workers. We're going to run a pilot with the Red Cross to implement for disaster relief programs, and we're going to secure a pop-up in Faneuil Hall with a local startup. Then, after that, we're going to learn from our hypotheses, determine our top focus areas, gather and leverage the data that we've collected. Who's our competition? It's Link NYC, however, they're only in New York, and they're not solar powered. Off the Grid, also not solar powered, only in San Francisco, and only focused on the food truck model. We haven't really found any companies addressing this issue at parks or festivals. And we have some competition for Disaster Plus. They're only utilizing generators. OK Solar is solar powered, but there's an 8 to 10 week lead time, and they only last 5 hours. Why is SolarFi better? As you can see here, it's being charged by the sun all day long. You can charge your bike, your scooter, refrigeration, so you can sell beverages. And there's your consumer engagement, right? It's non-invasive. People don't feel pressured. They're coming to our station for a need. These are also retractable, therefore they lock, and they're entirely portable. Our business model, we're going to place these in universities, tailgating, city centers, tropical applications, festivals. We see this as a franchise model, empowering women, minorities, and students. We're going to generate revenue through advertising, charging a retainer for a solar company, generating commission on sales, beverage sales, phone charging. As you can see, we can generate a minimum monthly revenue per station at $14,500. That's based on 1,000 SolarFi stations. That's $14.5 million, and annual revenue based on 1,000 stations is $174 million. We've done a proof of concept. We offered phone charging and cold beverages through our SolarFi cart at Boston Greenfest. We generated $800 in 2 days. We know this works. Our ask, we've been approved for a crowdfunding campaign through Net Capital. If we win $2,000 tonight, we have approval from one of our advisors. He'll give us $100K, and then I won't pay rent for the month of December, and I'll donate $2,000 in personal funds. We need $110,000 to build a SolarFi station. Why us? We are a stacked team, extremely diverse and well-connected. We have decades of sales experience, which is extremely rare for an entrepreneurial skill set. We have people that are former ambassadors, board members of Vodafone. We have solar experience. We have telecom experience. And most importantly, we have media and marketing sales experience. So why me? How did I get involved? I met the co-founder. Actually, I was there in my past life of media sales meeting with a client. And Next to me was our co-founder meeting with an investor, and I'm really nosy, and after my meeting was over, I was extremely intrigued, so I started asking questions. And because I had just gotten back from, I think, a vacation in Jamaica, so I was experiencing the millennial post-vacation blues. I was like, wait, you're telling me that I have to work and look forward to an 80-hour work week the rest of my life? Or 80-hour vacation, sorry, only 2 weeks throughout the year. That's not an option for me, and that's why I do this. Thank you. Oh yeah, questions? Sure.
So I like the idea of it, but your audience is very fragmented. You were saying it's for schools, it's for people who are unemployed, it's for students and others. How do you get to them cost effectively to make a business you can actually scale?
Could you repeat the last part again?
What's the process to actually identify them, get them, reach them, build the business, and be able to scale up in a cost-effective way? But you could
Yeah.
take a lot of money and time to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of where that initial roadmap that we had outlined was from, because we understand that the fact that, you know, we're looking at many different avenues where cost is of course a factor. So if we could generate enough money, run a pilot through all of these different roadmaps, then now we can look at the data, leverage the data, find the top focus points, and then that's where we can actually implement a full-blown strategy from that. Generating relationships, that's our bread and butter of basically our entire team. So if we can get, like, for example, we don't have to really pay people to build these.
Yeah.
We generated partnerships with universities for students to actually build these. So that's one way that we're looking in different ways to respectively cut costs.
Thank you.
A couple questions. So first one, can you talk a bit more about who the team is and the credentials? And then the second thing is how big, so I mean, as he was alluding to, there seems like kind of a lot of different markets that you can go after. Have you done initial analysis on which markets might be the first to focus and how big are those markets in general?
Okay. So first question, leadership team. These are our 3 co-founders. They come from a wide array of background they're all serial entrepreneurs. Former #1 sales manager for the largest medical device company. Jerry, he's the director of international trade for New York State, board member of Vodafone, Minister of Communications, Trade, Education, Hill and Knowlton. My past life is media sales, so I was the digital sales manager for Sinclair Broadcast Group. I helped run some TV stations, a radio cluster. Oh, sorry. Oh.
Sorry, we're out of time.
Oh, I'm done or no?
Yeah, that's all.
I saw 12 seconds and then I saw 2 minutes. I'm like, which one is it? Okay. Thank you.
So we will be having a demo session afterwards, so please hold any questions you have for the presenters afterwards. Thank you so much, and I'm just going to get to the next one. All right, so next up we have Alera Authentication, and it's Bill Dixon.
Thank you very much. Gotta get my prop here. Thank you. Hey everyone, my name is Bill Dixon. I'm CEO and co-founder of Alera Authentication. We're a brand protection and consumer engagement company. Our first focus is on anti-counterfeiting for apparel. So quick story on how we got into this. So about 2 years ago, I was looking online to buy this exact jacket. Found it on Amazon for about half off. I was about to buy it and moused over the stars and saw that it actually had about 20% one-star reviews. Arc'teryx is a great brand. I was super surprised. So I went and dug into it, and immediately we found out why. Counterfeit, fake or defective, 1 star, was not authentic, fake, the jacket is not authentic. And here is, Arc'teryx told me it's fake, and people are even asking, how'd you know? What should I do? How should I look for it? I'd never bumped into counterfeits before. I thought it was really interesting, so I kind of went down the rabbit hole and very quickly found out that super common. Articles on The Atlantic about someone spending $1,000 on a fake Canada Goose jacket. This was from 2 weeks ago. The Real sold this guy a fake $3,600 used Christian Dior handbag. So this was a big problem. And the thing that I think was really impressive to me was how big of a problem it was. So take this with a grain of salt. It's not like counterfeiters actually report revenues or anything like that. But it's estimated as $1.8 trillion a year. So this is over 2% of world economic output is now counterfeit. And the growth is staggering. Like, it's just, if I weren't doing this, I would go into counterfeiting. Like, this is what you guys should be investing in. It's incredible. And how wide the area is really impressive. So prescription drugs is the largest, but it goes into anything that's manufactured. I think the scariest one is counterfeit aircraft parts. It's now estimated that 5% of aircraft parts are counterfeit. There are even DARPA grand challenges on how do we keep counterfeit airplane parts getting out of the F-35 Lightning. So after this, you're like, wow, big problem. What are, at least in apparel, which I was looking at, what are brands doing about it? And the answer is, there aren't a lot of good options. So if you go to Canada Goose, they tell you to do things like look for errors in the shape of the maple leaf, and maybe if they didn't spell check it, Canada is spelled wrong. So it leaves a lot to be desired here. Nike's not much better. Nike says the opening line on their page is like, these guys are so skilled, it's pretty hard to tell a difference nowadays. Just buy from Nike.com, which again, doesn't really work if you're Nike.com. People buy from a lot of other places. So fortunately for me, I was working for a company called GSVlabs. We're actually a spin out of GSVlabs. We started about a decade ago out of MIT, and we do a lot of digital security work, actually. Work for large companies like Google, Sonos in this building, and Airbus. And some of you may recognize the picture on the left is actually Google's Project Aura, which was a modular smartphone project. We did all digital on that, including how do you authenticate third-party modules. So we knew something about authentication and looked at what's a good solution for customers for at least apparel. The two things that are important are it needs to be difficult to copy, whatever method you use for counterfeiters, and it needs to be easy to verify. So stuff that people are using now are things like garment details. Well, that's super easy to copy and it's hard to verify. Is the stitching good enough? I don't know. Same thing for holograms, a little bit better. There's now been a move towards serial numbers, and those are a lot easier to check, right? You type in an app, the app tells you if it's right or it's wrong. Problem is they're really easy to copy, right? Cloning serial numbers is trivial. So what we're excited about are encrypted NFC tags. So this little thing is an NFC tag. They're commercially available. You can incorporate them into any physical good. And the reader for that is in everyone's pocket. So every single person in this room can read the tag that I just pulled out right now. And these tags can't be cloned. So it's super easy. You tap your phone on a product. It's impossible to clone. And then you also have the added benefit of now you're engaging with this item. You can push origin stories of the product, anything else you'd like. So this is great, right? It's easy to verify, it's difficult to copy, all of these wonderful things. So how does this thing work? What's the general process? So these tags, you work with a brand. These tags are installed in a product in a factory. After that, we have these kiosk stations that can turn on the tag, basically. So now this tag is in a men's medium. This is in a green women's small, whatever it might be. The customer, when they make a purchase, whether it's online and receive the item or in store, can tap it, make sure that it's actually authentic. The brands learn a little bit, and then they either can take action. If it's real, they enjoy it. If it's counterfeit, they can take action, which is usually in the method of calling your credit card company and doing a chargeback. And the effect on the counterfeiters then is a 1% chargeback ratio. So if 1% of customers for a merchant charge back, Visa or MasterCard will terminate their merchant account. So you don't need very many people to start doing this. Before, a little bit about us. As I said, we're at GSVlabs. We're now a team of 6. Every single person in the company's got a decade of experience or more, coming out of MIT and McKinsey, smorgasbord of other companies you've heard of. We have experience in startups as well as a lot of supply chain. And then we've raised our pre-seed round, and we're currently working with one of the premier outdoor clothing brands in the world. I just came back from Bangladesh last week and going back in a month. So that's what we're working on. Happy to give people a demo afterwards or answer any questions. Thanks.
So first I have to ask if you know any great up-and-coming counterfeiting companies that might need investment.
Us, if we don't get the next round of funding.
Yeah. No, but I really like what you guys are doing. Curious to hear kind of where you think the next target market for you is after clothing, or if kind of clothing has enough runway to really be kind of a primary focus for you guys in the long term.
Yeah, there are a lot of other markets. I mean, if you go back to, I won't bore you with the other slide, it's everywhere. Drugs are the largest one. Dealing with the FDA, we have no interest in until we're big and have people that want to get into that. It'll take years. The other part of this that we didn't really talk about is there's a massive data play in all of this. If you start to learn what everyone's wearing and when and why, and you can sell that back to the brands. A lot of these brands don't even know who their customers are, and we're going to know who their customers are really well. So I think apparel is really attractive, but I think things like sporting goods, cosmetics is a huge one. Counterfeit cosmetics is massive. Same thing. They want to know the customer, and they have good margins. So
I really like it.
Thank you.
Very cool. Quick question on the competitive kind of positioning. I guess it's still kind of unclear to me on whether there are other companies that are trying to do similar things. And then the second piece is if they, what is really proprietary with your technology?
Yeah.
Creating that, chip, NFC chip
Off the
shouldn't be
shelf.
very hard. Yeah.
It is very hard, but a $40 billion company does it for us and we buy it from them. So we are not in the silicon business at all. The hard part is doing the cryptographic key management and building the whole integration system into the factory. So the same reason that Google hired us to do their cryptographic key management for Project Ara is the reason that a clothing company, not Google, is never going to be able to do this in 1,000 years. So the brands themselves can't in-house this. It doesn't make sense financially because it's the same reason they don't make Excel themselves, right? It's cheaper to buy something that everyone's using as a platform. Other companies, there's going to be a large winner-take-all coming into this where I can explain more how that works later on. I'm getting yelled at over here on time, so I'm happy to go into that more. In-house is not a concern. There will be competitors. It's going to be very hard to come into this late because there's so much volume and advantages we get in being the first there with volume that a startup coming after us it's going to be possible.
Can I just ask one more question? Can I just ask a question? So in terms of the amount you want to raise, when you're going to raise it, things of that nature?
Yeah, so
Finances.
we have an awesome deal with our current customer. Actually, our burn rate is about 0. And so once we get the next customer, obviously we're going to need to scale this. To your point about not being able to be followed, there's going to be a massive winner-take-all push on this. And so once we get the next customer it's going to be time to slam on the gas. So I think the next raise is going to be sometime early, mid next year. We're not under pressure right now financially at all, but there will be a massive growth pressure once we get that. So.
Awesome. Next up, we have Karina Akib of CaroCare. Hi, everyone. I'm from CaroCare. We're providing in-home and remote support to new families and their babies. So my name's Karina Akib. I'm here with my co-founder, Stephanie. We met at MIT Sloan, where we graduated in May, and we've been working on the business ever since. And for those of you in the room that might not be parents yet, I'll just paint the picture about what that experience of bringing a newborn is really like. So the moment you bring that newborn into your life, you're experiencing a wide variety of challenges. Your hormones are changing, you might be experiencing challenges breastfeeding, you're physically recovering from birth, and you're just learning how to care for this new baby, all on very, very, very little sleep. And this is nothing new, right? We've been having babies since the beginning of mankind. So why is this an issue right now? And why are we addressing it? Well, the first is that as young professionals move into more urban environments like cities, you're further and further away from your own families, who you traditionally used to go to for advice. As women give birth later in life as well, your own parents might not be there to provide that type of support. And in the US, the healthcare system has not stepped in. So I'm from Australia, where the healthcare system is very different. In the US, if you give birth naturally, you don't actually see a physician for yourself, an OBGYN, until 2 months after birth. And so there's a ton of things that happen during that 2 months. And the US healthcare system hasn't stepped in to fill in this gap. And so when Steph and I interviewed hundreds of families and actually lived in their homes while they were going through this time period to really understand what their challenges are, this is how they were solving it. 2 a.m., Googling, trying to get answers, posting on Facebook forums with other parents, trying to get advice there, spending thousands of dollars out of pocket on services that they don't even know if they actually need and don't know if they work, or just toughing it out and going without care. And so when Steph and I looked at each other and realized that this might be our experience one day too, we realized that we had to do something about it. And so that's why we built CaroCare, so providing in-home and remote support for new families. So let me walk you through what an experience is like for one of our customers when they sign up for our service. So we match families with a nurse. This is before birth, and so while they're still pregnant, someone like Erin, who's a mom of 2, lives in the local Boston area. So you meet her, you do your pre-birth phone call, and you get to know her a little bit. She not only has medical nurse experience, but she also has general baby care knowledge as a mother of 2 herself.
From the moment that you give birth, this kicks off a series of care interventions where we support families through the first 12 weeks. So this starts off with a visit to the home within the first 72 hours of coming home with this newborn, really addressing those like emotional, physical recovery needs, and then just learning how to take care of baby. The next few days, lactation consultant is sent to your home that matches with your insurance, so you're not struggling trying to figure out breastfeeding on your own, but you have someone that's an expert that's covered by insurance that can help you through. And then after those series of initial home visits, the relationship transitions to something more like a telemedicine model, where you can text or call the nurse for any questions that you have instead of Googling, as well as help you navigate the wide variety of other providers that you might need to help you during that time. And so we've been running this as a paid pilot in Boston. We have 14 families that paid for our services, and we've delivered more than 100 hours of in-home and remote care from zero that they would be getting today. And we've had really, really great feedback. We're very meticulously collecting feedback and iterating the service as we learn before we actually think about scaling up and using digital to scale. And so you might be thinking, okay, 3 months of support isn't very long. That's true, but we're starting off with this time period because this is where the gaps are in the system today. And if we can build trust and deliver on that relationship there, we know that we can support families through the early years of childhood and provide them with all the other additional services they need, tapping into a $5 billion market opportunity, which we will tap into through our subscription and marketplace model. And so we've just closed a pre-seed round, so we're actively hiring. So if you're interested in joining us on our mission and to support us in our journey as we launch, please come and chat to us afterwards. Thanks.
Thanks very much. It's very interesting. I have a question about the cost and how you actually find people who pay. Is it for the upper crust that has the money to do this? Everyone needs these kind of services.
Yeah.
Would you go after companies and say make it a benefit? What would be the process to generate revenue out of this?
Yeah, so we are starting off going directly to the consumer. We did explore selling into employers, but families are already paying like up to $5,000 out of pocket trying to like aggregate and put together their own care plan. So we're like, let's just tap into what they're already spending, and they identify with the need the most, and we want to learn from the customer. And then, yes, you're right. So it's not into the upper crust. I would say the families that we're working with now, young professionals, dual income households of more than 150,000, which we recognized when we did the marketing study across the US and the major cities, around 220,000 births a year in the cities that we want to target. So that's our target market. We'd be charging them a subscription service of $350 a month for the initial bundle for 3 months. And then we would tap into additional providers that they would book on demand. So they could spend anywhere up to $5,000 on our platform.
And initially, how do you plan to get to the target customer?
Right. So we're going to do partnerships with OBGYN clinics. We've actually spoken to a lot of physicians and they recognize a need. They're not willing to solve it because it's kind of outside of their scope, but they're really passionate about differentiating themselves as a practice and being able to refer a service like this. We actually have someone at our board that can help us figure that out. And so that would be primary. And then tapping into all the local, these like Facebook groups are really crazy for the new parents. There's tons of people there. Word of mouth will also be huge. And we've already seen a referral rate of like one client referring 3 other of their friends. So word of mouth in the new parent community is really strong.
One more question. Do you have anything on the tech roadmap on kind of robust, making it more robust?
Yeah, so we're just building a lot of that right now. So thinking about the back end, like how to automate a lot of the things we've been running manually through our pilot. And then definitely want to deliver a seamless customer experience because that is core to what these families need during this time. So on the front end, it'll just be like an app.
Next is Katie Diasti of Viv.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Diasti. I'm the founder and CEO of Viv for Your V. And today I'm going to talk to you about something really awkward and terrible. Periods. Now, periods are pretty terrible, but so are the period care products that exist in the market today. First off, they're way too expensive. 1 in 5 women in the US still struggle to afford period care products. There's also a lot of nasty chemicals involved in period care. Most period care products still have biofreeze and Roundup weed killer chemicals in them. And finally, there's a ton of plastic waste involved in period care. 1 pad is equivalent to about 4 plastic bags, and 1 pad or tampon can take up to 800 years to break down. We are Viv for Your V, and our mission is to revolutionize period care with an affordable, sustainable, clean-for-you product line of pads, tampons, and liners. Our current products are 95% biodegradable. They take 150 days to break down rather than 800 years, and we reduce our overall CO2 emissions by about 60% per box. We're also toxin-free and completely plastic-free. So you may be asking, how do we do this? And that's with our innovative core material of organic bamboo fiber. So bamboo is actually way more sustainable than organic cotton. It uses much less water and much less land to produce. It's also more absorbent and softer than cotton, making it a perfect alternative for this type of product. It's also more cost effective, which really does help our margins. So since going out and buying pads and tampons all the time is super annoying for us modern women, we've created a subscription model, so you get your products delivered to your door right when you need them. We currently sell a box of pads for $8 and a box of liners for $6. And since completing our second accelerator at the end of August, we've launched our pre-orders in October and have since sold over 620 boxes in a month. So we've been working hard to build an online community, and we have a growing social page, but we also have a private Facebook group where women can gather and discuss menstrual health or just what it's like to be a woman in today's world. Beyond social, we're going to be partnering some co-working spaces like The Wing and Village Works, and we're also going to be at many farmers markets in the next month, like the Boston Women's Market. Now, this is a massive industry, but it's lacked innovation for a really, really long time. And we believe it's time to give women the products they deserve, which is something that's better for their body, better for the earth, and something they can afford. And with that, I hope you join us on our journey to revolutionize period care. Thank you.
Thank you. Huge fan of femtech products, so big cheerleader for you guys. Just a quick question. I know there are a couple other companies that are coming out, right, that's trying to kind of tackle similar issues. One is, I believe, Lola. So how do you see yourself differentiating against those?
Yeah, absolutely. So they are organic cotton based, and they still use a ton of plastic in their products. So we are the more sustainable option. So we target like the low waste, zero waste communities, as well as we're way more cost effective. We're priced at a much lower rate. But overall, we are building a brand and an online community, and that's how we really see our products being sold.
I think it's really interesting to see the value proposition really wrapped around more sustainability than convenience. And I'd be curious to hear what you've learned from kind of your initial customers around what resonates with them, what's really kind of top of mind for them when making these purchasing decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a lot of market research when I was in school on this whole industry and really wanted to know what women want to see out of their menstrual care products, and price was a big component, but it was a credible part was the sustainability component. Subscriptions are where we're moving to, so that's kind of like what we assume we're going to get, so that we definitely think that's important, but sustainability and cost were the top two.
Next up, we have Catch Code, Raquel.
First impressions matter. When I have a pitch coming up, I want to make sure that I look good, and a lot of times that means buying a new outfit like this one. I put some thought into what I wanted to wear, and some thought turned into spending 4 hours browsing online for a 5-minute pitch. It took me that long because my favorite site to shop at online has over 37,000 products for me to choose from, and that's just one site. If I spent that time browsing for every pitch or important meeting I had coming up, I would waste over 400 hours a year, and no one has that kind of time. What if you could find products you love without having to browse anything? Well, you can with Catchcode because we do the browsing for you. I'm Raquel Phillips, co-founder of Catchcode. We build each user their very own e-commerce site made up of brands they love and products they want to purchase. We know what they want because they tell us via an easy questionnaire upon sign-up, which asks them about their style preferences, where they shop, and what they like to do for fun. We use this information to match consumers to products we think they'll love, and each recommendation they can thumbs up if they love, thumbs down if they hate. And thanks to our machine learning, the next time they log on, they'll see more of what they liked and less of what they didn't. Now is the perfect time for Catchcode. The online apparel market is huge, it's growing, and consumers are demanding personalization. So how is this different from subscription boxes or stylist services? We don't send you physical products, so you can still shop, but with the ease and convenience of a curated one-stop platform. We get real-time feedback on what you like and dislike, which leads to real-time improvements in our recommendations, and we're a fraction of the price. We charge consumers a nominal monthly fee, which can then be applied as a discount towards a purchase made, because we know that convenience is priceless. But you know what else is priceless? Conversions for brands. By putting the right products in front of the right consumers, we're making sales for our brand partners, so we get a commission on each one. We're targeting busy professionals between the ages of 30 and 45 who have active work and social lives. These are the consumers that have the money to shop, but not the time. And we know these consumers because we are them. I was bred to be an entrepreneur, and after getting my master's at Babson, I worked for the top public accounting firm. My co-founder, who's also my sister, got her LLM in fashion law and worked for various retail clients. From the corporate world to the startup world, we still like to look good, but we still don't have the time to shop, so we're the experts to bring Catchcode to market. And we've made some great traction so far. We have 12 brand partners via an established affiliate network, where in this year's Babson WinLab cohort, we just wrapped up our first beta test, which was an email recommendation system, and we have a wait list of almost 400 users. So this is a list of consumers who want to be notified when our platform launches. But a lot of them actually couldn't wait, so as of last week, we launched a text message service. So for $5, we text them 5 products daily right to their phone for 30 days, and it's great. They can thumbs up products they love, thumbs down products they don't like, and we have 11 paying users on this service, 36% of who purchased one of our recommendations within 5 days. But manually curating these text messages is very time consuming, and our time would be better spent adding users to this service and adding users to our waitlist. So the $2,000 would go towards hiring our data scientist to build out this automated recommendation system using the logic that we're implementing manually. This will free up our time to grow our waitlist from 400 users to 1,000 users and to add to our already 11 paying users to make that 100 paying users. We plan to do this by targeting luxury high-rise apartment buildings in Boston. At no marketing cost, we're able to exhibit in their lobby and get right in front of our target consumer. This has proved to be the most effective method of engaging our consumers. 95% of users on our waitlist came from tabling in lobbies and at conferences, while only 5% came from paid advertising. With Catchcode, instead of wasting 4 hours to find this outfit, I could have found it in the amount of time it took me to deliver this pitch. So if you'd like 4 hours of your time back, here's the link to sign up for our waitlist. Thank you.
I'm curious to learn a little more about your value proposition to the partner brands, because I would think they might have a little hesitation around pulling users off of their own site and kind of being showcased compared to other competitive brands. And what have you learned so far from those partners?
Yeah, definitely. It's really low risk for brands to come on our platform. So one, we're marketing their products consistently to people that shop at them, but also to prospective consumers. So if someone comes on and tells us they like Nordstrom, we're also going to show them similar brands. So we are potentially putting their products in front of new consumers, and they only pay us when they make a sale. So we're basically like a salesperson to them.
So you have these ideas for people, they get something, they like it, they order it. If they don't like it in the end, do you get caught in the middle of sending it back? I mean, there's all this sense of maybe it looks great online, but you don't like it. What's the process there? Is there any you get involved in that, and does that reflect in you at all?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's always going to be that issue with online shopping that someone might not like it when they try it on. The one of our biggest value props is we're helping consumers find products that they love that they may not have been able to find otherwise. So saving them time. But logistically, we are not involved in returns, shipping. We don't actually hold any of that inventory. We're just partnering with brands on the back end. To start, when they see a product they love, they'll be brought to the retailer and they'll check out from there. So the return will really still fall on the retailer.
So one other thing would be the cost. So is that an element you put in there? I want to spend between this and this. Because
Yep.
in order to get the profile of a person, you could ask a zillion questions,
Yeah.
or you could ask 5 questions.
Yeah, so we have two kind of different types of questions that we ask. One are very objective, so this is like the cost, what types of hem lengths do you like to wear, and this really helps us eliminate as much inventory as possible. And then there's the style questions. So we ask, we just show you a couple images and say, which of these do you like, let us know. But that's really where the real-time feedback comes in. Someone could like a shirt, but they don't know why they like it. By them continuously clicking and liking these products, we might pick up on patterns that they wouldn't be able to otherwise tell us.
Next up, we have Tuan Ho of ScholarJet.
Hello, hello. All right, you probably know me by now. I'm kind of loud. Awesome, thanks, guys. All right, good night, everyone. My name is Tuan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of ScholarJet. Let's dive right into it. We are creating the next generation of entry-level recruiting platform. And our mission is to create a future where people are rewarded to pursue their career based on their abilities. And what we do is to connect diverse talent to tech companies. Now, let's dive into the problems. Employers spend billions of dollars on campus recruiting every single year, visiting campus, posting jobs online, and the only tool that they're focusing on is resume or profiles, which is a shinier version of resumes. But resume often overlooked candidate. You can't really showcase what you can do because resumes start to look the same after a while, right? And that's why recruiters are complaining they can't find relevant talent. Well, if you look at the next generation of talent and what they are actually doing, they grew up with YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and they are showing talent in a different way. They participate in hackathons. They want to be able to create and showcase what they can do. But a resume actually limits their capabilities and their creativity behind their talents. So how can you truly showcase your talent? And at the same time, they're being weighed down by a whole bunch of student loan debt. So what can we do about it? ScholarJet helps employers attract entry-level talent by helping them create skills-based hiring competitions where candidates can apply by showcasing what they can do. So if you're looking for to apply for a sales role, you should apply with a sales pitch. If you're looking to apply for a software engineering role, you should apply with the app that you create. And so I'll talk you through one of our customers, Wayfair. They wanted us to help them hire software engineers, and they created a $3,000 coding competition on our platform. The prize is to help pay off student loan debt. And the prompt was to ask candidates to create an app to help them stay organized. Typically, Wayfair received 250 resumes before they offered one interview. See, the rate is horrendous. So through us, they actually got 10 applicants in a very short amount of time and actually offered all 10 interviews. And the winner received money on top to pay off student loan debt. And actually, let's dive into one of the awesome story coming out of that experiment. Brian studies business, and his major on a resume says that, well, this is Christos, not Brian. His major indicate that he studies business, but he's actually have a background in coding, and he's constantly trying to apply for a coding role. But his resume immediately got tossed into a trash can. Through us, he was actually able to create the app that Wayfair was looking for and hired Brian. And our employers are so happy with what we got. We don't just do technical competitions. We also help them hire sales, customer success, marketing, etc. We actually help GSV with hiring interns for digital marketing by creating content for a startup that they like. So This is what our testimonials, and we have 10 awesome employers. Wayfair, Toast, Rapid7, Akamai. Awesome names. This is our business model. We charge employers to post competition on our platform for the roles that they're looking to hire for. Think of it like a job post, but instead of posting a job, you're posting a competitions where candidates can showcase what they can do. And we're projected to reach $2.5 million in ARR by 2021, and we have a pipeline to prove it. We have better.com. We actually have a sales meeting with Airbnb last week, and a second meeting has already been scheduled. So we're on track to get more customers on board. This is our team. We came from underserved communities. We worked extremely hard to get to where we are today, and we understand deeply about the problems that we're trying to solve. We raised money, we sold to enterprise clients, and we built our technology from scratch. And we made it to over 30 media outlets, including Forbes 30 and 30. So if you want to help us out, any questions, feel free to reach out to me to create a future of entry-level talent recruiting platform. Thank you.
So this is a really good idea, I think, that the sense that you want to look at what people can do versus what they've done in school and things of that nature. You're not trying to sell the qualification, you're trying to sell the output. So you go to companies, they try you, and then they keep you, they scale, yeah, that's the idea. And have you done like DraftKings, for example? Because I know that they're innovative, they hire a lot of different people. That would be a target for you, I would imagine.
I'll tell you a little bit something about DraftKings. They only hire white males who play sports because no one else knows what fantasy football is. Anyways, the point is they need some more diversity in their companies, and they're actually in our pipeline of customers.
So I'm a huge advocate of kind of skills-based hiring versus the credentials-based hiring. So this is a great idea. But what I'm trying to figure out is if you have explored kind of other methods of executing on the skills-based hiring versus how did you pick the competition as the main method of doing this?
So oftentimes we come across recruiters who typically, and you hear the stories over and over again, entry-level jobs, 3 to 15 years of experience. Doesn't make any sense. We actually try to work with our employers in the past, and they typically ask very challenging prompt for candidates to do. So currently, our platform is a minimum viable product, and we handle quite a bit of a background work to suggest the type of competitions that will bring out the fundamentals for an entry-level job. So the type of roles that we're helping to target have some sort of like communication skills and grit, determination. Those type of deals can actually be proven through a video that you could see if a candidate can showcase their communication skills, the way that they persuade people, for example, for a sales competition. And so we are gathering the data that's necessary, and the background that we have as coming up from underserved community, have friends in community colleges and state school, we know what these kids like and how to bring those talents out instead of just trying to help them create a better resume to get a job, essentially.
Can I ask one quick question? Okay, let's squeeze this one in. So really interested in what you're doing, bringing more kind of innovation into the recruitment space. And I've seen a lot of people taking different angles on this same problem, which is, clearly kind of validates some of the need. But I think a lot of the challenge in companies who face kind of the employment sector early on is that the concept can work well in kind of a confined environment, but that the employer and employee experience doesn't actually scale that well. So you think of now, a year from now, Wayfair, they might have hundreds of apps to review instead of resumes to screen, and how do they kind of get through that process while the employee now is making a dozen apps to apply for a dozen different jobs? How do you think about tackling those types of issues as you gain adoption?
So those are two separate set of customers. So we offer the screening value aspect of our platform to employers who receive tons and tons of candidates, and the sourcing value to employers who doesn't get enough. So in terms of Wayfair, what the value that they would actually perceive from us is how can we reduce the fact that we have to look at 50,000 resumes at the same time. And so when you introduce this screening tool, it's actually quite interesting, is that I did an experiment where I post a job post on Indeed, and I received tons and tons of resumes. I was like, there's no job description whatsoever. And then I would call each and every single one of these kids. It's like, hey, have you actually read the job description? 95%. No, I just kind of skimmed through it. You did not read the freaking job description. So they receive tons of easy apply. And the whole, like, it's counterintuitive. But instead of easy apply, you should be targeting the type of candidates who actually want to work for you and want to be able to take the next step to showcase that I want to get hired by you and look at what I can offer.
Got it. Thank you.
Next up is Awana of Introvoke.
Hi everyone. Right now, as we speak, there are around 5 startups events happening in Boston, and those are just the ones that I know of. Entrepreneurs are getting frustrated that they don't know which ones to choose to go to. There's so many going on, and they have a constant fear of missing out. And that's just for Boston. And that's only for the ones that are lucky to live here. But how about those that don't have the luck to live in Boston, San Francisco, in New York? I'm Romanian, and I have friends in Bucharest that are amazing founders and that are jealous that I'm in this place and I have the privilege of having you as mentors, advisors, and investors to learn from. Consequently, accelerators and startup communities are frustrated with the dropout rates at events. They are putting these amazing events together and they get panelists that are taking time out of their busy schedules to come. But sometimes you can't get people in the room. You end up with about 10, 20 people that happen to be free on a Thursday night and that chose your event across the others. And the last one, the investors as well, are getting frustrated when they're trying to discover new startups across different geographies, especially if they're looking to expand their portfolio. My name is Juana. Oh, first of all, and there's actually no platform for live content dedicated to entrepreneurship. There's an incredible amount of noise on social media. My name is Juana, and I'm the founder and CEO of Introvoke, and we're building the world's first digital venue for startup events. What we're doing, we're allowing entrepreneurs to tap into all the startup events happening from around the world. Of course, you can't replace the relationships that you're building, but the next best thing is to actually learn from what other people are doing around the world, especially in the hot startup hubs. Also, if you're lucky enough to pitch at a competition, at one of the many pitch competitions that are on our platform, you get your personalized link to your pitch. So now you can send the investors not only your pitch deck, but actually you pitching so that the investors get to know you better from a behavior. And that's also good for the investors that are looking to diversify in different parts of the world. What we're focusing on right now are the content creators. These are the event organizers, the startup incubators and accelerators, and we created with them, for them, a very powerful marketing tool. So we made live streaming a powerful marketing tool. Live streaming is not new. It's revolutionized like gaming and movies and music and so many others, but no one's really actually used it as a really statistical and analytical marketing tool. We're allowing event organizers not only to live stream with a push of a button with the app that we launched, but also to analyze their behavior across the world. So if they have 100,000 entrepreneurs watching their live streams, what are they watching? And how do that integrate with their CRM system so that they can target them afterwards depending on the time they spent on the platform and the type of the content that they watched while being live. And what it's even better, we're making them more money. So right now in the room, we have about 20, 30 people that, let's say that this would be a paid event. What if they would sell a live stream ticket for half of that price, but to 100,000 people? That's pure profit for them. They don't need a bigger venue. They don't need more food. That's purely what is coming from the live stream. And we also listened to them. They said, live streaming is very hard. We're actually having the conversation. We need a lot of like video recording teams. No, we actually created a video streamer app that they can download and they can go live with a push of a button. And we made it so easy for them that 90% of the current live streams are streamed using our Introvoke streamer app. So think of us like Twitch meets Eventbrite with a twist. We have the team, why we can make it happen. I spent my career at HP about 8-9 years. I know how to build go-to-market strategies. My product development team is absolutely amazing. Their background is at Microsoft and Intel, and I have also the interns from Holt University helping us in marketing. The industry is booming. So the live streaming industry is about $70 billion and it is growing every year. In the startup world, there are about 100 million startups that are being formed every single year, and 41 million are being built by millennials who are the consumers of the live stream, 8 times watched more than the regular ones. And so many others showing that live streaming is now the new thing. And Forbes, Business Insider, and so many other media outlets are saying so, to the point where Ad Age said that live streaming will dramatically revolutionize the way we're looking at ROI for brands. And this, we have a SaaS revenue model. We're selling subscriptions. We'll be selling digital tickets where we take a percentage out of that and the sponsorship and affiliate partners on our platform. We had some early traction. So we launched in May this year, and since then, organically, we have about 26 current creators and counting on our platform. We're streaming from 3 different continents, US, Europe, and Africa. We streamed from Zimbabwe the other week. Founders Live is onboarding 60 cities across the world on our platform, moving completely from Facebook Live to us. And we're happy to announce that Founder Institute will be streaming an event with NASA tomorrow, so tune in for that. More than that, about 60 live streamed events around the world. We have about 4,000 users already. We can track engagement and get analytics from that for our customers. And we're already being picked up, making it a thing for people who can't actually get to these events. What our ask is right now is we want to take it to the next level. So we've done everything organically until now. We actually spent 0 money in marketing, but we want to take it to the next level with the right mentors and the right advisors on board. Thank you.
So I'm curious how you're thinking about you know, a lot of the motivation for entrepreneurs going to these events is for the networking, and how do you think about kind of replicating? I know you talked a little bit with the investor side, but how do you think about kind of bringing some of that functionality into the platform?
Yes, I agree. So no technology ever will actually replace the relationship you're building face to face with an investor or like with a human being until holograms potentially are going to be around. So we don't want to replace that. What we're doing to start with is to allow people in any location, they don't have to spend a lot of money to have an apartment in New York so that they can tap into that, or into San Francisco. They can, however, tap into the amazing events that are already being created. So we're not asking people to do something in addition to what they're doing, like event organizers, purely to open up so other people can tap into that. From an engagement perspective, the investors will be able to sort. We're building machine learning and like very smart search into our platform, where investors literally can sort through the location, the stage of the startup, and so many others. And instead of seeing a deck, they actually see the founder presenting so that they can get a feel of what the company is about. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So last up, we have Bhaskar of Trillbit.
Soon, everything in your wallet will be replaced by a single device. What do you have in your wallet today? Cash, credit card, ID, maybe some key cards. All of this will be replaced by a single smart device. However, there's a huge barrier to this future. Have you tried connecting 2 devices next to each other? An Android phone with a Mac or Windows, Samsung phone with Apple TV. Current technologies are slow, insecure, inefficient, and often doesn't even work. And this problem is only going to get worse with increase in number of smart devices. What if we can connect 2 devices next to each other simply by using sound waves through their speakers and microphones, without the need for any additional hardware? This is not just an idea. We're already live in over 2 million devices and have filed for 3 patents. Hi, I'm Bhaskar, CEO and co-founder of Trillbit. Let me show you how it works. So I have an Android watch, and with a single tap, it can transmit its electronic ID over sound waves and connect to my Mac, to a point of sale, or any smart device. But speakers are not just in smart devices, they are everywhere. There are more number of speakers than planet on the people, and we can connect them all to build the Internet of Sound. To realize this vision, we are working with some of the world leaders in tech. Samsung approached us for seamless device-to-device connectivity. So did Cisco for building smart spaces using sound waves. We are working with the world leaders in sound technology, Bose, for seamless device authentication without the need for any app. This represents over a $40 billion market opportunity. Let me give you a few examples of how we are creating value for our customers. We have a pilot with Western Union that connects the user's app directly with the POS for authentication. This makes the transaction not only faster, but about 4 times faster, but also more secure. We completed a pilot with Big Basket, India's biggest online grocery chain, to connect users' phone with a vending machine for payments. And we were able to bring down their transaction dropout from over 30% to under 1%. We are a software-only solution that can be integrated into any web page, app, or device. We charge a licensing fee and pay per click based on use cases. All this would not have been possible without a great team. My co-founders and I have known each other for over 12 years from IIT. However, we were in 3 different continents when the idea came along, but we moved together to build Trillbit. Mrigesh and I have deep experience in signal processing and tech. Our third co-founder, Sasikant, has extensive experience in commercializing new products. We are a team of 8 awesome engineers and business people. We have built the default protocol in which devices will connect to each other in the future. We are currently in over 2 million devices and have pilots that will take us to over 10 million by the first quarter of 2020. However, just last month, we won a competition by Viacom in which we were the only seed stage startup among mostly Series A and beyond startup that will take us to over 50 million by early next year. So let's connect to build the Internet of Sound. Thank you.
Can you tell us a little more about the applications you're targeting? I know you mentioned mobile payments, but I'm curious kind of which you see as the most relevant for the technology you've developed.
Yeah, so let me give you an example. So today, what is the flow for, say, Starbucks? You walk into a Starbucks, you pull up your app, then you go to the QR code, then you get into the line and scan this QR code. Now, Starbucks has taken the effort to put this QR code readers in every store, and still people have to go through this user flow. Versus in our case, you simply walk into a Starbucks, you open the app, the music in Starbucks carries our data tone, and that the app automatically recognizes where you are, and the payment can be authenticated directly. Now, what is the alternative? Say Starbucks tries to put Bluetooth beacons in each of their 12,000 stores. That is just a hardware cost of over $500,000, few months of lead time, and then all the operation to get that done. Versus in our case, we can do it because in 5 minutes, because we are integrated with a backend that plays music to all the Starbucks. That's called jukeboxes, so we have a partnership with them. And then in 5 minutes, this can be rolled out to across Starbucks without ever setting a foot on this. And this is, for example, one of the biggest use cases in any kind of authentication in any kind of physical space.
But you still need to integrate with the point of sale, right? I mean, you.
Yes, but on a software level, we don't need to go and change anything in that point of sale.
Without going too much into the technical component, what kind of information is actually being kind of transferred, I guess, through the sound?
So this could
is it, yeah, I guess I'm trying to understand,
Sure.
like, are there any privacy concerns, you know?
It could be any token, authentication keys, or any digital data. So we are the physical layer, and on top of it, you can build any kind of encryption. So we have a basic cipher built in, but you can use any kind of AES or any kind of encryption that you choose.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So that concludes the pitches for the evening. What we're going to do now is let the judges take some time to deliberate, and we can all head into the kitchen. There is food now and drink, so we can enjoy some of that, meet some of the startups, and we'll announce the winner in about 15 minutes in the kitchen. So thank you again.